Zimbabwe is in the 8th year of economic recession, characterized by record inflation and high unemployment, which has reduced at least 80% of the population to living below the poverty line. Banks have rationed money to $5 million per customer. That's about enough to buy a hamburger amid acute shortages of food, petrol, and most basic goods.
Hi everybody. Imagine walking into a store with a bag full of cash and realizing you can't even buy a loaf of bread. This is not fiction. In 2008, Zimbabwe's inflation rate reached 79.6 billion%. Yes, 79.6 billion. So, how did a nation once richer than most of Africa collapse into hyperinflation? In the early 1980s, Zimbabwe was seen as Africa's rising star. Rich farmlands, booming exports, and a strong currency, the Zimbabwe dollar was once worth more than the US dollar. But when politics started mixing with economics, things began to crumble.
These are some of Robert Mugabe's men, armed and dangerous. Yesterday their task was to stop an opposition rally. Here's how they did it.
In the 1990s, President Mugabe's government began land reforms, transferring white-owned commercial farms to locals. Land reform was not new. Zimbabwe had been redistributing land slowly since the 1980s. But in 2000, after a political backlash, Mugabe's government launched a fast-track program that seized farms overnight. This sudden shift destroyed agricultural productivity, and output fell by almost 60%. Experienced farmers were gone, and output plunged. The country's main export vanished almost overnight. The government lost almost all tax revenue, and instead of cutting spending, it responded by printing money to cover expenses, pay wages, keep military running, and provide subsidies. And that's where inflation began. The Reserve Bank introduced price controls, forcing shops to sell below cost. So businesses stopped selling because they could not afford to. Shortages worsened, and the black market boomed, and inflation fed on itself. By 2005, prices doubled every month. In 2006, every week. By 2008, every day. People rushed to buy food the moment they got paid, because waiting even a few hours meant prices would rise again. Banks could not print notes fast enough. The government kept adding zeros. 10,000 became 100,000, then 10 million, then 1 billion. Eventually, they printed a $100 trillion note.
Government frantically tried to keep up by printing more money in higher denominations. This is a $100 million note. This is a $500 million note. This is a $5 billion note. This is a $25 billion note. This is a $100 billion note. This is what a $50 trillion note looks like. Yes, believe it or not, this is real money. By the time this currency went out of circulation, it could barely buy you a loaf of bread.
So, what is inflation? Now, you must have heard that inflation means prices of goods and services increase over time, and the value of money decreases. But what exactly does this mean? Let us say in 2010, a loaf of bread cost €1. In 2025, that same bread costs €1.50. Prices increased by 50%. Or your money's buying power decreased. What €1 bought before now needs €1.50. Now, you might be wondering, why do prices actually go up? Well, there isn't just one reason, but here are some of the biggest ones. Too much money chasing too few goods. For example, during COVID, governments printed money, but factories were closed. Fewer products, more money, prices shot up. This is what exactly happened in Zimbabwe. Production lost and government printed money for subsidies and pay wages. 2. Rising production costs. For example, if oil prices rise, transport becomes expensive. Everything from food to clothes becomes costlier. Now, this can again happen because of different reasons. For example, war. Production in one country affects prices in another. 3. High demand. For example, before Christmas, demand for gifts rises. Sellers increase prices. In Zimbabwe, the government expanded the money supply by billions, while production collapsed. The result? Hyperinflation, an economy eating itself. So by 2008, the economy had collapsed. Schools closed, hospitals ran out of supplies, and millions fled the country. In 2009, Zimbabwe abandoned its own currency. The US dollar became the official currency, and people finally stopped carrying cash in sacks. Dollarization briefly stabilized prices, but the scars remain. The government reintroduced the Zimbabwe dollar in 2019, yet trust remained fragile. Every citizen remembers what happens when money loses meaning. Zimbabwe's story reminds us, printing money can buy time, never prosperity. Real value comes from what a nation produces and the trust people place in its currency. But here's the twist. If printing money causes inflation, then how did the United States print trillions after the 2008 crash, and again during COVID, yet still survive? What makes America different? Subscribe, and in the next episode, we'll uncover the secret behind the world's most powerful money printer.